Listen, I have an opportunity today as one of the many millionaire club members to share with you the topic leadership vision. And it takes business vision to keep people in long enough until they see their success. I mean, it took me 8 months to hit the executive director position. Now, for some of you, that's a short period of time. For others, it's a long period of time. But when you're going through 8 months, that's what, about 30 days times 8, 240 days. Day 1 didn't happen. Day 2 didn't happen. All the way up to 240 days, it felt like forever. And I think because I didn't have a lot of time before I started drowning in my bills. You see, when I started my Legal Shield business, quite frankly, it was the worst financial time in my life. The month before I joined, my house is up for foreclosure, and I'll never forget having to make that call to my mom. In fact, my mom called me first, and then I got the nerve to call her back and ask her for the money. My mom called me because I didn't know when your house is up for foreclosure, it's public knowledge. I didn't know. My mom called me and was like, hey, something you want to tell me, baby? I said, nah, what's up, Mom? And she said, I saw that the house is a little bit behind and looks like it may be auctioned. And I said, I'm sorry. I thought I'd be able to catch up before it actually went into foreclosure. And so you gotta know my mom. She was like, let us pray, right? She went straight into prayer. And I got the nerve up after we hung up to call her back and ask her for money. Oh, I felt horrible. I'm 28 years old, college degree, and I had to ask my mom to borrow money. Felt bad. Well, I didn't feel that bad because I actually took the money. So I didn't feel that bad. I actually took the money. So I got the money, and I started to realize, you know what, this can't be the way I'm going to live next year. Like, next year can't be like this year. And so, but things got worse. You know, sometimes you think, man, it's got to get better. You think, you know, I'm already at the bottom. It's the only way up. The only place to go now is up. And walked out the house. My wife walked out the house, and she came back in screaming. It's like, babe, someone stole the car. And I was, you know, half asleep. I'm like, huh? She's like, someone stole the car. I'm like, I know. And she said, what do you mean you know? And I knew the car had been repossessed. Again, I was trying my best to catch up. And I'm like, I know the thief. Toyota Motor Corporation, right? I'm laughing today. It was not funny that day, I promise you. But at that point, I realized, again, things had to change. And when I was introduced to Legal Shield, if I had thought about my past, if I thought about the month before, if I thought about my past year, I probably would have said, nope, no way. But because I had already grown to embrace vision that next year can be better than this year. Next month can be better than this month. Tomorrow can be better than today. It helped me out. So today I want to share with you how to cast that vision for yourself and, more importantly, as a leader for your team. So John C. Maxwell said it this way: a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and actually shows the way. So they know the way, they go the way, and they show the way. Now, this isn't an or, this is an and. Because you and I both know folks who know the way but can't show the way. You know those folks. Like, I know places right now that I know how to get there, but I don't know how to quite tell you how to get there. Because I've gone so many times, I haven't paid attention to the street names. Think about that. Like, I could say, I know how to get there, but I'm like, what's that street? I couldn't show you right now how to get there because I didn't pay attention to it on my way there. Watch where I'm going. And so you know these folks because you've met these folks. You're lost, right? And you say, excuse me, sir, can you show me how to get to such and such? And here's the guy who knows it but doesn't know how to show it. They say things like this. First, they do this noise. But I don't know why they do that, but they do it every time. Here's what you want to do, right? You want to go down this way about 3 or so blocks. No, you know what? Scratch all that. When they say scratch all that, that means they don't know. If they say, what do you mean scratch all of that, right? So this is in my neighborhood. So they know the way, but they can't show the way. Then there's folks who go the way and folks who don't go the way, but they're saying for you to go. So they're trying to show you, but they don't go. See, this is why it's an and. You got to have all this together. Because if someone says, hey, look, I'm trying to get to such and such place. And you know what? Just follow me. Watch this. Just follow me. I'm going that direction anyway. That'd be nice. But what if as soon as you start following them, they went a different direction, and you know where you're headed is not that direction. Now you're concerned, like, where are they taking me? You can't trust that they're taking you where you said you wanted to go because they're not even heading in the right direction. This is key. This as a leader, see, so this is a leadership conference this weekend. So we're not just talking about you doing it. We're saying that people have got to trust you enough where they want to listen to you. They're influenced by you because leadership is influence, nothing less than nothing more. And so they've got to trust you enough that they know your influence is leading them to the place that they've told you they wanted to go. So you've got to at least be going in the same way, same direction. So I can't tell folks to register for the event, and I'm not registered for the event. I can't tell people to join the team call, and I'm not on the team call. I can't tell people that get Performance Club qualified. I'm not Performance Club qualified because I'm going the opposite direction. I've confused the very team I want to follow me. They don't trust me. And then you got to be able to show it. And you know those folks who can show it. I mean, they're saying things like this. Hey, what you want to do is there's going to be 3 stop signs. There's going to be a house to the left that has forest green shutters on it. And if it's between the hours of 2 to 3, there's an elderly lady sitting on the porch and a Rottweiler that's running loose without a leash on the right hand. I mean, they know specifics like, dude, how do you know that? So not only do they know it, but they can show you. I mean, it's detailed. It's like, folks, if they ask me today, hey, listen, so I need more information on the product. Hey, no worries. Just pull out your Ellis Engage app, go to the hamburger menu. Those are the 3 lines at the top. Press that. You'll see training. Hit training. Once you hit training, you'll see you get to choose your training path. You hit that and you go down and it says product knowledge. You hit product, bam, you got training on ID Shield. You got training, right? So that's someone who not only knows it, they're not only doing themselves because obviously they're doing it and they can show you. Leaders, great leaders, not just a leader, but great leaders. They know the way, they go the way, and they show the way. All right, so we're going to talk about vision. You guys ready? So vision. Look, Paul J. Meyer had the blessing to learn from the great late Paul J. Meyer, the great late Paul J. Meyer. In fact, he was a part of Legal Shield, for those who don't know. Here's what he said. Whatever you vividly imagine, ardently desire, sincerely believe in, and enthusiastically act upon must inevitably come to pass. And I've always had this up in my office, right? And the first part is you've got to vividly imagine it. And this is what helped me to come out of the place that I was in because I kept seeing something brighter, right? And if you don't have something in front of you that says like, this is why you're still doing this. This is why you're still here. This is why that failure won't hold me back. This is why this particular valley won't stop me from getting to the mountaintop. You gotta vividly, you gotta see, when I wake up in the morning, I can't wait to go after it. Even if I just miss my goal, I can't wait to get another shot at that goal because I vividly imagine it. I'll never forget, one of the first things I vividly imagine, because I'm a giver, right? My wife says I give to my own detriment, right? But I'm a big giver. And so one of the things I had to put in front of me was what I wanted to do for others. Because what I want for myself, sometimes I let myself down. You know what I mean? Like I'll go on a diet. I'm like, Milan, my daughter's like, I made warm cookies. I'm like, nah, Dad's not eating cookies right now. But I just made them. No, Milan, come on now. You know, Daddy's trying to work on something. Please, give me the cookie. Then I'm like, give me the ice cream, right? It's just bad. It's horrible. Whatever you're thinking is worse. So, but that's for me. But guess what? If I was a part of a team where we had to lose more weight or we had to reach a certain fitness goal versus that team, count me in because I'm never going to let my team down. You know, I'm not eating the cookie. Milan can't eat the cookie because I can't let the team down. Right? The team's counting on me not to eat the cookie versus just me. This is why it's leadership, guys. So I put this vehicle. It was, I just tell you, it was a Cadillac Escalade. Their first year it come out. Now this wasn't for me because if it was for me, maybe I wouldn't have made the calls. Maybe I wouldn't have done the follow-ups. Because it's just me. Let myself down all the time. But it's for my wife. Now, no, don't get me wrong. I had to I had to have my wife dream. I had to paint the vision. Watch this, because we were in such a bad financial place. Tracy, my wife, just no longer wanted to dream. She lost the vision. In fact, I stole her vision. And this is how you know you stole someone's vision or someone's dream. Because they say the word just or only, right? They would say, I only want. I just want. You know what I mean? I only want to pay the bills. I just want to be able to survive, right? So they say only, and they say just. And so I said, babe, what type of car would you want? Once we have success, what type of car would you like? She's like, babe, I just want to pay the bills, right? This is because we were so far behind. And so I finally got her to spit it out. I said, let's say we could pay our bills. Let's say we did have all the money that we needed. Then what kind of vehicle would you drive? She said, I like that truck that just came out. I saw a picture of it. It's a Cadillac Escalade. Went to the dealership. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I asked the guy for the brochure so I could put it up in my office where I made all my calls. And you know, he was being a salesman he was supposed to be. He tried to convince me to buy it. And I was like, look, you know, trust me, I can't purchase it. Let's come on back, sit in the office, let's run some numbers. I don't even know what that meant. He said, let's run some numbers. I already knew. He came back to me, he said, listen, you're gonna have to get some creative financing. In other words, we're not gonna finance you here, right? And so I never forget it. I went home and I made the calls because you know why? I could vividly imagine it. And long story short, I never forget, about a year or so later, I was able to go to that same dealership and purchase the car, parked it in front of where my wife used to work at BET, the cable station. And she came out pregnant. She's about 7 months pregnant, right? And she came out and, oh, let me tell you this part. I surprised her because she never knew I was saving up for this because I could vividly imagine it. I saw me surprising her with this. So I took a bag of confetti with keys in it and I gave it to her boss. And she was like, Tracy's back here. You come on back and give it to her yourself. I said, no, don't tell her I was here. Just take the bag to her. She said, you sure? I said, I'm sure. So Tracy told me this part because I wasn't back there, that her boss came back with the bag and said, Darnell was here and dropped off this gift. And she was like, for real? He was here? Because I'm never there in the middle of the day. And by the way, we had one car, so I always took her to work and always picked her up. So I was never there early during the middle of the day. And so, so she said her girlfriends came around, because you know girls can be nosy at the job. What's your man bring you? Right? What's in that bag? And so she said she started going through the back at the bottom with the Cadillac Escalade keys. So she waddles to the window where she used to wait for me and look outside to see if I was outside to pick her up. Well, this time I'm in front of her brand new white Escalade in front of the grill like this. Right? I felt like I was the man. So she comes out and she's crying. She was like, no way, this is mine. I was like, yeah, baby, I told you. Vision, right? I told you that we were going to be in a position where we could do anything we wanted to do. And so she comes out and she's trying to get up because the truck is pretty big and she's pregnant. And she's like, this is too big. I can't drive this. I said, oh, no, you're going to drive this today. We just paid cash for that, right? That's what I wanted to say. But my point is this, guys. You got to keep it in front of you. And even after that, even after we start earning income with Legal Shield, I still vividly imagine things, right? Never forget, went to the Marina Del Rey in California. And I walked along the area where all the yachts were parked because I wanted to vividly imagine where I could be. And I never forget meeting nice people on the yachts. And they were like, what do you do? It's like, I own a grapefruit farm. Really? Oh my God. Like, I didn't even, listen, I didn't say, how can I too grow grapefruits? I'm just inspired by others winning. This is where, listen, I don't care if you got to drive through nice neighborhoods if you like that. I don't care if you got to go to nice dealerships if you like cars. I don't care if you got to go see that, hey, this is what it's like to be able to give to others, to maybe charitable places, right? We go to men's shelters and we feed the homeless, right? So, but these are all things, whatever inspires you to be your greatest, you got to vividly imagine, see yourself doing that, and then you've got to act upon it. It's a great quote by the late, great Paul J. Meyer. Hey, listen, we know that vision starts within. This is through personal growth and personal development. And this is a tough thing for leaders, right? Again, we're talking to you all as leaders because maybe you have one person on your team right now, you're leading that team. Maybe you don't have anybody on your team right now, but you're leading yourself, which is the hardest person to lead is yourself. But my point is, this is a leadership conference. So I want you to always think about this as, you know, how can I implement this where I can cause more people to do something that they otherwise wouldn't have done without my influence? That's what I want you to think about as we go through this. How can I get more people? How can I get more than 10 people, more than 5 people, more than 2 people, more than 100 people? How about 1,000 people to do something they otherwise wouldn't have done unless I was involved in it? This is what I want you to think about. So we know that a leader who becomes more, we're talking about personal development, who becomes more, actually sees more than others. And look, they're supposed to see more than others. You're supposed to see more than others. And here's what happens. Unfortunately, people get caught up in a couple of different things. One, people get caught up, right? And I'm talking about me as well, right? We get caught up in the smaller picture of things. I never forget having a conversation with a gentleman, and he and another associate weren't getting along, right? It's a personality conflict. And the challenge there was that he felt like, hey, listen, I don't want to combine forces with this person, because if they collaborated, they could have had a ton of success together. But they couldn't find a way to collaborate. They couldn't find a way to come together and win together. And so because of that, the gentleman decided, you know what, I'm not going to do business with this particular company. It was an opportunity for him to go into a company, offer this as an employee benefit, and win together. He decided, you know, I don't want to do it because I don't want to do it with that person, but that person had the end. But guess what? That deal never happened. And both of them could have been ring earners today, but because they couldn't see more, they only saw. And here's what I like to say with folks. Listen, so is there an opportunity for you to win if you were to overcome that issue? And typically it's like, I mean, yeah, there's an opportunity for me to win if I can well, how about we overcome that so you're not so mad at your money, right? Because this is business. This is not nonprofit. I have one of those. This isn't that. So you want to see more than others, right? You want to see more because once you hit one goal, it's time to set the next goal, guys. Why? Because if you feel like you have enough, how about giving more away? How about becoming more so you can contribute more? Right? That's where it really is. This is when you actually become more significant, right? This is how you start creating legacy, because it lives beyond you. It's not what you leave to people, it's what you leave in people. And so if you feel like, you know what, I've done enough, well, great, continue to pour back into others, but you've got to see more than the $50,000 ring. You've got to see more. There's a hidden platinum executive director. There's a lot more people waiting for us. And then we know that these great leaders who grow themselves within, they see farther than others. They see farther than others. You know, look, I wrote something down on knowing I was going to do this training for you. And I thought about this because I'm thinking, how did I help people to see farther? And how did people help me to see farther than that month, than that year when I wasn't having the success that I wanted? And one of the things that someone said to me, and now I use it to say to others, is, yes, I hear you. Right? Because people are like, yeah, but I didn't qualify for the trip. Yeah, but I didn't, but this, you know, no one's joining right now. Yeah, but yeah. Yes, but 2 years from now, are you prepared to use that as a reason for why you didn't succeed? I never forget that. Someone said that month 6 to me. And because at that point, you know, I was on a roller coaster, right? I was having success, then I wasn't. My team was working, then they weren't, right? And I was like, oh, it's working. No, it's not. I'm happy. I'm sad, right? And so, was I prepared to use that? What was I going to say to my kids later on, my grandkids later on, right? Which I didn't even have at the time. What was I going to say? Was I prepared to use that as a reason that, hey, look, 3 people told me no a long time ago, and this opportunity that could have blessed you all, that could have paid for your tuition up front, that allowed you to go to school that you deserve to go to, not the school that dad can afford for you to go to. But I'm sorry, because 3 people told me no that day. No, dad didn't make this trip, this free trip to Mexico. And so I gave up on the dream. And so I apologize, because perhaps I could have created a legacy. Perhaps I could have left you an inheritance and not debt. Perhaps, right? Am I prepared to use that 2 years from now as a reason why I wasn't prepared for that? So I got back to work. Great leaders who grow within see before others. See before others. This is a tough one, because, you know, people kept saying things like, you rich yet? You make $1 million yet? You know, because it was 4 years of me struggling as an entrepreneur. But again, for some of you, you're like, that's not a long time. For others, you're like, man, that's a long time. But 4 years I'm struggling as an entrepreneur. And so folks are like, you know, you made any money yet? You know, are you a millionaire yet? I'm like, I want to say, dude, you've been working for 30 years, not a millionaire yet. Can you give me more than 4 years? Right, but you can't say that's kind of rude. But my point is, you know, you see before others do. Listen, and you would want to, because an opportunity exists because you see it when others don't. If everybody saw it, it's no longer an opportunity. So when folks say, listen, how come everybody doesn't see it? How come everybody's not joining? Stop wanting what you don't want. As a leader, you don't want everybody to see it before you see it. The opportunity exists because the masses don't see it yet. This is why we have an opportunity. The reason why we're able to make millions and millions of dollars is because most folks haven't decided to do it yet. It's not that they can't do it. They've made a decision not to do it because you see it before they do. That's all. And right now we got less than 3% market penetration. Man, there's no time to. I know, Israel Wynn talking about we need some sleep. Look, I'm gonna save you. I'll give you 5.5 hours of sleep. All right, 6.5. All right, don't tell I said it. I'll give you 4.5 hours. You gotta work. All I'm saying is, yes, you're gonna need some sleep. But listen, it's time to see it now. That's all I'm saying. Everybody's gonna say, look, let me tell you one. I gotta go to the next slide. This guy told me, I'll never forget, in this plaza up the street from my house. Because I'm prospecting, right? I'm like, hey, listen, I'm not sure if you keep your income options open when it comes to creating additional cash flow, So he's like, looked at my card. Because back then, that's when we had cards, right? Before digital with cell phones. So I had cards, and he's like, this is in direct sales? I said, yeah. He said, man, that stuff doesn't work. And then, it'd be fine if he says, hey, not for me, but it doesn't work. I'm going to prove to you in 1 second why you've got, in order to have vision and to instill vision to others, you've got to rely on some of the history, some of the data, the facts, not subjective, but the facts. And all of us here with Legal Shield, we already have that. So we got to have posture. So I said, hey, man, it's okay if it's not for you. He's like, yeah, come to me once you start making money. And I wish I'd kept his information because I would love to call him today. Like, what I'm saying? But that didn't happen. It's okay, though. My point is you got to see it before everybody does. Not everybody's going to see it when you see it. And guess what? Some folks aren't coming no matter how much you see it. You guys wrote that one down? No matter how much you see it, you can't make other people see what they're not willing to see. Some people are blinded by their own self-imposed barriers. It's not that it doesn't work, but they haven't given themselves permission to say it will work for them. They've not given themselves permission to succeed yet, and that's okay. That's why timing is everything. All right. Vision draws on your history. Remember I said we're going to talk about this, so let's talk about it. I talked about posture and feeling good about what you're a part of. And it's not arrogance. You just already know what you know. See, it's different, right? You're just confident because you've got data, you got facts here. There's no hype, right? I really did start without a car with Legal Shield. No one gave me, I legitimately started a month after foreclosure. No one gave me a top position. It took me 8 months to hit executive director, right? So all I'm saying is that you've got history. You can lean on real stories. People are tired of all the facade, the disingenuous people, the folks who lack authenticity, the companies that are here today, gone tomorrow. And we should feel good that we've got a solid company with a real service, with real people who made real money by making a real difference. That's what we have. That's what we have. So vision draws on your history. So, you've come too far to stop now. I kept telling myself that. Right? I'm like, man, I came too far. I can't stop now. After 4 years as an entrepreneur, I'm like, man, I invested too much, right? I'm 3 feet from gold. I can't stop. So you come too far to stop now. Listen, this is a vision. If you're on my team, I say it all the time. Like, look, this is just the beginning. The best is yet to come. We've come so far, but yet we got so much further to go. It's not the penetration behind us, but the vast market ahead of us that gets me excited. It should get you excited. When you're painting a vision, you're using the history, right? Your vision is drawn from the history, but you're painting the future. You're like, can you imagine next year? Can you imagine what your life is going to be like 2 years from now? Can you imagine? Whatever it is they told you, listen, I just want to be able to pay for my kids' tuition. Can you imagine? Watch this, quick story. I asked the gentleman, I said, what's your why? What's the reason why you joined Legal Shield? And he says, because I want $10,000 a month. And this is in front of other people. So I don't want to embarrass him. So I said, well, what would you do with the $10,000 a month? And he says, I need a bigger house. And he said it quickly, didn't even think about it, a bigger house. And I said, that's awesome, man. Let me ask you a question. If we're getting too personal, just stop me. What would you do with a bigger house? Why do you need a bigger house? And he said, because my kids share a room right now. I said, I bet if you ask all the folks in this room, if they ever shared a room with their sibling, They would say yes. So what's wrong with your kids sharing the room? And he's like, well, I have 2 sons and a daughter, and they're all getting older. And my daughter's now feeling a little uncomfortable, you know, getting dressed or undressed in front of her brothers, and she'd rather, you know, have her own room. I said, how do you know that? He said, she tells me. I said, again, please stop me, because about 40 people in the room, if I'm getting too personal. He said, no, it's okay. I said, when does she tell you? And he says, at night, when I go to kiss her goodnight. I said, what does she say exactly? And he says, she looks up at me and she says, Daddy, you're gonna give me my own room, right? And I said, and what do you say? He said, I turn around because I don't want to see me getting emotional, because in my current situation, I honestly don't know when I can get her room. I said, how often does she say that? And he said, every night. And I said, every night you feel that way? He said, yeah, just about. I said, that's your reason why. And it gave me an opportunity to say to him, imagine when your little girl has her own room. Imagine a year from now, imagine 6 months, imagine 3 years from now, when she's like, Daddy, not when you're gonna get me my own room, but Daddy, thank you for getting me my own room. That's why you come too far to stop. Went director 60 days later from an associate. Why? Because we painted the vision with his why. With his why, not my why. My why's different, right? People are like, oh, that's good for you. Oh, you're hanging out on the yacht on Tuesday, that's good for you. That's not his why. You see? So we paint the vision with that person's why. Imagine when you're able to go see your mom whenever you want. You know, people are like, I want to see my grandkids, but they live too far away and I can't afford to get on a plane all the time. And I can't. Listen, imagine when you're able to go see them every month. So you paint the vision with their why. $1 billion in commissions paid in the last 10 years. Fact. No hype. Fact. So when people are like, well, I just don't know what people making money. Is $1 billion in the last 10 years okay? Now look, if one person made $1 billion, if I was a billionaire, that'd be nice. But I'm not. I'm not. So they didn't go to one person. If I made $10 million a year, that'd be nice. That means quite a few of us making some money, but I'm not making that kind of. So that means a whole lot of us have made a lot of money in the past 10 years. This is a fact, guys. When people, so this is what I mean by painting the vision. It's like, look. Can you imagine $1 billion been paid in the past decade? But that's with minimal penetration. Can you imagine where we'll be over the next 10 years? And now we have more success stories to share, right? Which brings me to July 2020, right? Just a few months ago, highest commissions paid since 2008. So this is for the folks who come to you and like, man, yeah, I think I heard of that back in 2007. It sounds to me like you stopped investigating too soon. Now I was in 2012. Sounds to me like you quit too soon. You know, I just don't know, man. Listen, now is the time. Anybody who's maybe taking a break, now is the time. See, so you're able to get back with them and paint the vision. All I'm talking about is painting the future for folks. Because look, if you're not careful, people will talk about why things are so bad based on that. Based on, man, I talked to that person, you should have heard the way they talked to me. 5 years ago, 4 years ago, that one time, do you believe that people can change? Do you believe that people can get better? Listen, I can't imagine what I've said to people don't even know I said that offended them unintentionally. I didn't even mean to, but maybe I said, and they holding me to that. That was 7 years ago. Give me a chance to apologize. Give me a chance to get better. Give me a chance to prove myself. I'm a better dad, better father, better husband, right? Dad and father, same thing. But I'm a better father, better husband, better leader, better man than I was 5 years ago. I promise you I am. Right, I'll be better 5 years from now. So you got to give people a chance. So 2009, yeah, but look where we are today. Where will we be in 2025? Can't wait. The same presentation. Hopefully we'll be together. You can talk about things with your team, like rank advancements and rings. And hey, listen, we've, it's awesome because we've created this in this amount of time. Right? We've been able to celebrate this over the last 4 months. And this is great painting a vision for prospects, right? Because prospects say things like, hey, listen, you give them a follow-up, right? You reconnect. Hey, just want to reconnect with you. I know it was like 4 months ago when we talked. And I just want to let you know when I talked to you back then, I was really excited about sharing the opportunity. I'm even more excited now because we've already had 7 people earn our $500 bonus or whatever it is. I'm just making up stuff, right? Since I talked to you, so I want to make sure you don't want to be number 6 or number 7 this month. So it's about sharing what's already happened and how much greater it's going to be once they join. Are you ready? Right? That's the vision. And we can all paint it, but we got to ask ourselves as leaders, are we painting the vision? Are we painting the future more than we are the present? It's nice to talk about what you've already done. People are like, yeah, but your money is not cashing in my account, right? Your money is not paying for my mortgage. So it's great to say about you 5 months from now, 7 months from now, a year from now. All right, guys, listen, we got to come to a close here. It's always great to be with you, but vision meets others' needs. So it's not just your needs, it's the needs of others. Listen, I'll never forget I was in the Cayman Islands, and I was taking my scuba diving test, certification, and I wanted to try scuba diving. Don't ask me why. I've tried a lot of things that I've done once, and I'm glad I did it. I just don't know how many more times I would do it in life, but I'm glad I can say, I did that. That's a lot of stuff I've done. So, we're in the pool, because you got to do the certification in the pool. They don't just drop you in the middle of the ocean. Well, at least they didn't do that here. And so you got to take the test in the pool. And never forget, we had this, I don't know how many people, maybe 12 people or so. And they assigned me, everybody with a partner. This is pre-COVID-19, because they probably couldn't do it this way. And so I had this one lady, check this out. I'm smiling because I remember it like it was yesterday. And so we go through this whole process. Make a long story short, there was one part of the test where you had to go down in the pool, and if you stood up, you fail. Like, you cannot stand, your head cannot come above the water. You fail because you can't stand up at the bottom of the ocean. Like, you can't panic at the bottom of the ocean, stand up and try to breathe, right? So you drown. So the bottom line is, if you stand up in the pool, you fail. So we had this regulator mouthpiece, right? So just in case someone's tank, anything happen, you got a partner and you lose oxygen, you got to be able to go back and forth, take some breath, and then you go up and go with that person. Nobody can panic, because halfway through, if they just say, forget you, and they're gone, you're stuck. So we do this in the pool first, right? So we're in the pool, and this lady, I never met her before, pre-COVID-19, because I wouldn't be doing this. So never met her before, and so they tell us what we got to do. And I never forget, I did one time, took my breath, gave it back to her. She put the regulator mouthpiece in there. And I'm like, come on, give it back. She's like, I can see it in her eyes. She's like, and I'm like, come on, because I'm not standing up. I can't fail. I can't stand up. Hey, I'm punching your gut. No, I would never do that. But I'm like, come on, give me the regulator. And she's like this. She's like this, right? She's panicking. I'm like, come on, like, it's a breathe. Like, I'm trying to help her, right? Because I'm a giver. And she's like, and eventually, like, I'm taking it from her. Because I'm about to stand up. So I'm like, and she does like this, and just gives it to me, and she stood up, and she failed. And I felt bad. But I was a team player. Your vision has got to incorporate others, but they got to be a part of the vision. They got to celebrate the vision. They got to see the vision. They got to be 100% loyal to the vision. They cannot leave the vision. Right? Otherwise, it causes this weakness in the organization. And this is when you find strong organizations, because everyone sees the vision together. I'm telling you, one of the worst things to have a business partner who you see the vision and they don't. You'll sacrifice, they won't. You'll give up time, energy, effort, time away from your family, and they're like, oh, my fault, man. I was tired. Well, I'm tired too. So the team has to take ownership over this vision. And when, not if, when you get to that place and you find folks that say, man, we are going to the top. We are getting the ring. We are winning together. We are, man, listen, I can't wait for us. This is how you know you've got it. When your team start talking us and we, they're no longer saying, man, I'm going to buy the Ferrari. They don't even know I. All they talk about is we. When the team went up, right? That's all they talk, because all they know, they bought into the vision, because it's a we thing at that point. Man, you get folks to the we thing, they realize, you know why this is so important? Because I know I'm not good enough to hit the levels that I've hit. I know I'm not not good enough to build a team that I've built, but I know we have been. I've got too many weaknesses, but guess what? I look strong because I'm connected to people who are strong in places I'm weak. I'm strong in places other people are weak. So when you connect together, you've got a link. When we all have decided that, look, not only are we here today, but we're going to be here 10 years from now. Not only are we going to be here 10 years from now, but we're in together, and we're taking a whole lot of other people with us. Listen, this has been Leadership Vision. You stay the course, paint the vision, and go accomplish your dream.